down there in Arkansas when we come back.
Yeah.
So we've got a lot of things to talk about. So, oh boy, excuse me. You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. We'll be back in 5 minutes, and please enjoy your news break.
Support for NPR and the following message come from Amazon Prime Video with Lorena, the new docuseries that shares Lorena Bobbitt's side of the story and investigates the headlines and press coverage 25 years later. Lorena, now streaming on Amazon Prime Video.
Live from NPR News in Washington, I'm Jack Speer. President Trump is reacting to a new push by House Democrats to get documents from a variety of the president's allies and organizations. More from NPR's Mara Liasson.
The House Judiciary Committee is seeking a wide range of documents from more than 80 individuals and entities, including Trump's sons, Trump's company, Trump's charity, his campaign, and his inauguration. Today, President Trump was asked if he would cooperate.
I cooperate all the time with everybody. And you know the beautiful thing? No collusion. It's all a hoax. You're going to learn about that as you grow older. It's a political hoax. There's no collusion.
But the investigation by the House Judiciary Committee is not only about possible coordination between the Trump campaign and the Russians. It's also about possible abuses of power, corruption, obstruction of justice, and other potential crimes. Mara Liasson, NPR News, the White House.
Recovery efforts continue in the southeast Alabama area after a monster tornado killed at least 23 people there. The National Weather Service has classified it as an EF4 with maximum winds of 170 miles per hour. Troy Public Radio's Kyle Gassett reports it was one of two tornadoes that struck Lee County over the weekend.
It was a large tornado, approximately a mile wide, that did the most damage to parts of Lee County. A representative of the National Weather Service called the storm a, quote, monster tornado at a press conference. Governor Kay Ivey also addressed reporters, mourning the loss of children, mothers, fathers, neighbors, and friends.
Is to know that we are a tight-knit community of people. And today, each of us mourns the loss of life of our fellow Alabamians.
Ivey also said that in a phone call, President Trump pledged A-plus support from FEMA for Alabama. For NPR News, I'm Kyle Gassett in Troy, Alabama.
A federal court judge today says the case of Hoda Muthana, the woman who was married and widowed by Islamic State fighters in Syria, will not be fast-tracked. Muthana is hoping to return to the U.S., and her lawyer Charles Swift wants her case expedited. However, the Trump administration is refusing to let her into the country, challenging her U.S. citizenship. After the court decision, Swift says Muthana is facing danger in the Syrian camps where she's currently staying.
Within these camps are ISIS supporters. And that these ISIS supporters look very, that she's now a heretic. She's now not a Muslim and should be executed.
In issuing the ruling, the judge says Muthana's lawyers failed to establish she and her 18-month-old son face imminent danger. OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma is asking a court to throw out a lawsuit filed by the Attorney General of Massachusetts that accuses the company, its owners, and top executives of deceiving patients and doctors about the risk of its prescription opioids. Meanwhile, the company is reportedly preparing for a possible bankruptcy filing. You're listening to NPR. The U.S. government says it intends to publish economic data on Puerto Rico. That's apparently amid concerns some of the data put out by the U.S. territory in the past has been flawed. The Bureau of Economic Analysis says it intends to analyze consumer spending, business investment, and trade in goods from 2012 to 2017. A new study from Denmark is providing strong evidence about the safety of a common childhood vaccine. NPR's Rob Stein has details about the research published in the Annals of Internal Medicine.
Researchers studied nearly every child born in Denmark between 1999 and 2010. Over the next decade, the researchers found there was no increased risk of developing the brain disorder autism among the children who received the vaccine that protects against measles, mumps, and rubella. That was true even among children who might be at increased risk for autism, such as those who have a brother or sister with autism. The study comes as an outbreak of measles in the Pacific Northwest has renewed debate about parents who refuse to get their children vaccinated. Rob Stein, NPR News.
Beverly Hills 90210 and Riverdale star Luke Perry has died. The 52-year-old Perry had been hospitalized since last week after suffering a massive stroke. Publicist Arnold Robinson says Perry was surrounded by family and friends when he died earlier today. Born and raised in rural Ohio, Perry first gained fame for playing Dylan McKay in Beverly Hills 90210, which ran from 1990 to 2000. Luke Perry also appeared in a number of movies and on Broadway. On Wall Street today, the Dow closed down 206 points. I'm Jack Spear, NPR News in Washington.
Welcome back to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The time is 5 minutes after the hour.
Welcome back to the Paranormal Pride. My guests tonight are Darknite Paranormal out of Fort Smith, Arkansas, and we're asking them questions from the chat. And one of the questions that I have is for you guys. And Carl from CC Paranormal Team that we were talking about during the break. It was all good, Carl, I swear. We were talking about the Echo Box, Carl, in your video. So feel good about that. He wants me to ask you guys about your pictures at the Old Union Cemetery and about the orbs that's on your website.
Ooh, let me pull it up and see which ones.
Old Union Cemetery.
Whew,
that's an interesting cemetery, just to tell you that.
Yeah, Old Union Cemetery is actually it's creepy as heck. It's at the end of a dirt road. And the middle of nowhere. How I found this cemetery years ago, like I think it was 2013 or 2014 was the first time that I ever went and investigated there. And that was before I'd met Sherika or Lauren, and I was still with the old team that I was with, Spook Earth. Now, we was out there, and I caught a Class A EVP of what I believe, it sounded like five or six entities chanting in unison. It said, "We effing hate your boyfriend."
Oh, okay.
And
that sounds very friendly.
Right? Yeah, and there was two guys there, and just so happened to be me and Justin. The other two was my sister, Krista, and the chick I was seeing at the time, Nina. We were there, and it was all, "We effing hate your boyfriend." So, and still to this day, I don't know if it was talking about me or it was talking about Justin, but it was a Class A EVP, and it was one of the most clearest EVPs I've ever caught from a cemetery. It was pretty crazy. Out there, Old Union Cemetery, there has been some of our crew members that were negatively affected out there. They like to mess with you. You'll see shadow figures, and what's even creepier is around the outside of the cemetery, it's all woods. It's all wooded area except for in the front. And they got a big opening in the back of the cemetery that for some reason I always get drawn back there, and we always end up investigating back there like half the investigation. So yeah, Old Union Cemetery. If you ever get down, or when you get back down this way, Denise or anybody out there that's interested, hit up Darknite, and we'll take you out there and just show you that cemetery is incredible. It hasn't disappointed me yet, and I've been out there like 5 or 6 times. We've been out there now, and we have permission to go out there anytime we want. So.
As far as the orbs go, I'm not a big one. I'm not going to sit here and say orbs aren't evidence because, I mean, in the right context, they can be. What I find interesting about this one, though, and the reason that we kind of went ahead and put these out there, this cemetery, like Dwayne was saying, it's out in the middle of nowhere. It's down the end of a dirt road. There's not a whole lot out there that can really contaminate any of the pictures or anything. And I had to pull them up and see because actually we have another lady that does our website for us. She's part of our team. And I had to go and look and see which pictures we had up there. That one with the tree, too, it's really hard to see the tree. Kind of looks like the picture sideways. It's got a lot of orbs in it. That tree is kind of like Dwayne was talking about that opening. That tree we always get drawn to that tree as well. It's kind of toward the back of the cemetery, right before the wooded area that Dwayne was talking about. And in that one, I mean, the whole thing is lit up. It looks like there's like Easter eggs or something hanging in the tree with all the orbs that's in it.
Yeah, and in that sense, I understand how a lot of people feel about orbs. A lot of people don't consider orbs to be able to be presented as paranormal evidence and such. Now, but we've had this, I wouldn't say argument, we've had this conversation before. In that sense, most of us that's been doing investigating for a while, for some time, we know the difference between dust particles and bugs and orbs and things of that nature. In that sense, orbs are usually more pronounced. I've seen, believe it or not, and I don't know if you've ever run across this or not, Denise, you or your hubby, have ever run across this in orbs. I've seen orbs with actual faces in them.
Oh, yeah. I've got some amazing ones that I could tell you about. And I've also seen light anomalies with my own eyes that I actually saw somebody following someone down a hall.
Yep. Yep. I've seen them too. And that's what I'm saying. Yes, I agree with all the skeptics out there. I love a good skeptic. It's the best feeling in the world as a paranormal investigator to be able to change a skeptic's mind on the beliefs of the paranormal. But in that sense, it's always good to be partial skeptic as investigators as well, because you got to debunk everything. You got to debunk all the possibilities of it being non-paranormal before you can consider it paranormal.
I'm starting to think too. One thing that we do with our orb pictures when we're taking them is we'll take 2 or 3 pictures from, like back to back, same angle, same everything, and compare them. We didn't put the original, the ones without the orbs in them, the before and after on the website, but maybe we should, just so you can see. And another one about the tree where it's got the 2 red ones beside it. I know it's not a car. I was kind of looking at it, wondering if maybe it was a car. But back there, we don't park back there. There was no vehicle or anything back there. So it's kind of cool because there's like the dimmer ones in the tree, and then you got an orange one and a red one, and then a really bright white one. It's pretty cool. It's kind of hard to look at the picture, though, because it looks sideways.
Do you guys believe that the orbs colors have meaning, or it's just random?
I believe it definitely has meaning. Mm-hmm. Me personally, I believe there's different, of course, there's different. I've seen different colored orbs. I've captured different colored orbs and such, and I think it kind of goes to the aurora sense of it. The aurora is the colors that people give off, for those who may not be familiar. But I think it has to do kind of, and there's guides online and stuff that give specific meanings of each colored orb and things of that nature. So in that sense, I believe that each orb is specific or individual to itself.
There's, like I said, I kind of wish we could prove that, but sometimes all you can do is say, this is how I feel when I see this color. And that's about all you can do. And I've been able to do that sometimes, but only if I see them with my eyes. If I see them on a camera, I kind of discount them myself. But if I see them with my own eyes, it's a whole different ballgame. And that's just me, because when we were talking about equipment, my husband's favorite piece of equipment seems to be me. Let's put Denise in there and see what she's coming up with, because she comes up with some strange stuff sometimes. So
that's what I said, as far as, like my favorite piece of equipment I say is me as well, just because, when you feel something or you sense something or something like that, you can't really explain it, but you know what you feel, and nobody can, you can't debunk that in any way as, a word box or anything like that, because it's you.
Right. But the only thing I can't, we can't always say our goosebumps are from something else, because in my case, I'm always cold. So we can't. Yeah. And recently I found out why, but that's a whole different ballgame too. But we do have some questions in chat, and we have another break coming up in 5 minutes. So This is going to be, let's see, which ones do I think that you guys can answer? Well, I'm going to still go ahead and start with Devil's Den.